The Sacrificers number 7 is back from the series hiatus, and we return to the fantasy world where Soluna, the daughter of the sun and the moon gods, is on the run from hunters hoping to steal the rest of her godly life energy, forcing her onto a painful path of survival. We're going to talk about it right here. See you in 3. Welcome back to Comical Opinions. This is our review of The Sacrificers number 7 from Image Comics. But before we get started, please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. Your attention is greatly appreciated, and stay tuned to the end for the score. Let's talk about the credits. Sacrificers number 7 is written by Rick Remender, with art by Max Fiumara, colors by Dave McCaig, letters by Russ Wooten, and the cover art, which for the main cover is drawn by Max Fiumara with coloring by Dave McCaig. Before we pick up with this issue, let's discuss what happened in issue number 6 before the series went on hiatus. Soluna, who is the daughter of King Rokonos, the sun god, and his previously his concubine, but now separated wife Luna, decided to follow the alchemist to find out where the elixir came from that gave the gods so much renewing power. When she learned the truth that the elixir is extracted from the brainstem or for the minds of the sacrificers, she was horrified and she tried to escape, but the alchemist captured her and then tried to steal all of her godly power by subjecting her to the same torture device that pulls it from the brainstem and the spinal column of the sacrificers. However, at the last minute, Pigeon interrupted and managed to help Soluna escape. But in the course of escape, they got separated, so now we catch up with Soluna after she's escaped, but incredibly weak from the loss of so much of her godly magic. Issue number 7 starts with a couple of scenes where we find out some of the villages that have sent sacrifices off to be sacrificed to the gods are now under distress because the tides are coming in and they're generating massive waves and tsunami levels of destruction that are destroying all the peoples in the surrounding villages that are on the coast. And we find out is that Luna, who is the moon god, got into a huge fight with King Rokonos in issue 6, and they parted ways, and Luna decided to walk away from all of it. And because Luna is no longer controlling the tides, the oceans are spiraling out of control and destroying everything in sight. So we know that there's trouble amongst the gods, and it's creating a big problem for other gods, especially ones who control water, and for the people who are in service and in worship of the gods, because now they're being completely wiped out and devastated and destroyed. Then we switch gears over to where we left off with Soluna after she escaped the alchemist before he could fully kill her and extract all of her godly power and create a new elixir that gave him ultimate power. She's on the run from the hounds and the guards that the alchemist sicked on her as she runs through the forest. As she's running and scrambling through briars and swamps and climbing hills and basically getting scratched up and tore up and beat up in every way imaginable, she's replaying a conversation that she had with her mother Luna, when she was a little girl, just after Luna had decided to separate from her father and the two of them no longer being a couple. And Luna gives her daughter some life lessons about what it means to be young, what it means to grow old, what it means to take stock of what it's important, and what it means to accept your destiny and your fate in life, to become who the person that you are meant to be. As that internal narrative and conversations happening, so Luna is going through all these thickets with scratching thorns. She's trudging through swamps, and then she eventually climbs up this hill to this plateau where she sees a tree with fruit, which she thinks, okay, then now I can get some food and I can regain my strength, and maybe that I can regain some of my power to help me escape this situation from these dogs and these guards that are hunting me down. Unfortunately, the fruit is toxic, and she winds up throwing it up. And what she doesn't realize is, as she's sick and trying to recover from eating the wrong kind of fruit, that a large black pool of sludge or some kind of dark liquid suddenly rises up near her, and it turns into this sort of gross kind of moving, spiraling entity that it's all tentacles and fangs and black goo, and it attacks her. She tries to escape, she tries to pull away, but she can't. And at the very last minute, the black goo shoves itself into her mouth and completely fills up her body and completely takes her over just as she falls off a nearby cliff. And that's where we end the issue in a to be continued. What do we like about The Sacrificers number 7? Rick Remender is just phenomenal at writing deep character soulfulness. You can see the pain and the anguish and the heartache that goes into the voice of Soluna's mother, Luna, as she's detailing this breakup scenario where she's describing why she has to leave her daughter at a much younger age, and the pain that she feels at growing older, growing apart, getting away from effectively what's an abusive relationship with King Rokonos, and all the just the anguish and the heartfelt pain that her mother feels. And that's just in the caption, in the narration, the words. It feels so human and so genuine, and that comes across loud and clear. Plus, when that narration is going through and paralleling Soluna's run and escape from these hunters until she meets her inevitable end. It's not an end, it's just the end of the issue. The two go hand in hand, and you think that the story is going to go one way when it doesn't. And it's just so heart-wrenching and heartbreaking and incredibly powerful and an emotional comic to read. And within the fantasy context, it gives it even more weight and wonder and just awe of beholding what you've got going on in front of your eyes. What didn't we like about The Sacrificers number 7? Honestly, nothing. I mean, just aside from like maybe one or two tiny nitpicks and just you breeze by them so fast you don't even notice it. This is a strong fantasy story. It is a deep emotional story. It is a raw and relatable story. The minor nitpicks are barely even worth mentioning. So just all from start to finish, this is a phenomenal comic. Let's switch gears to the art. Max Fiumara does a phenomenal job, equally as well as Rick Remender, in portraying Soluna as a weak, struggling, fighting, clawing, innocent who's just trying to survive and bearing up under the weight of being hunted, and also the knowledge of what her mother told her about what it means to push through the pain, to push through the agony, to become whatever it is you are meant to become. And that's as much reflected in the words from Rick Remender as it is in the art from Max Fiumara, whose vision for what this story needs to be is simply amazing. Final thoughts. The Sacrificers number 7 is an immaculately beautiful and incredibly well-written story of pain and heart and joy and grief, all wrapped up in a pretty little bow. It is an amazing comic. It is an amazing series, and we are looking forward to each and every issue. Therefore, we're going to give The Sacrificers number 7 from Image Comics a well-deserved and well-earned 10 out of 10. This is one of the few series that you can guarantee that every issue is a winner, and so far, coming back from hiatus, the story hasn't skipped a beat, and we're looking forward to each and every one of these issues. Are you reading The Sacrificers? What do you think about this story? Are you a fan of this type of fantasy storytelling, or do you prefer maybe a little bit of a different bent? Let us know in the comment section. Otherwise, please stay tuned through the outro for the next review.